All money, they para. So the bed go sara. And if you start to the fire.
In this budget that Yari presented to you, I have facts, constituency by constituency.
Get ready for the ultimate political showdown every Sunday at 6 p.m. Join the dynamic Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, the trusted guide through the maze of politics and current affairs. Political Roundtable,
where the sharpest mind dissect the hottest topic shaping our world today.
Don't miss out on the conversation everyone will be talking about.
Join Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ as he dives deep into the heart of the matters, exploring the issues that matters most to you.
And there is no subsidy in that sector, according to the government. So what you have, and the government is very reluctant to accept this, that we are funding the discos, they are cash-strapped. And so the government is trying to raise money for them. And that is why...
Tune in to Political Roundtable every Sunday at 6 p.m. only on Mainland 98.3 FM. Political Roundtable, where politics meets passion. Stay informed, stay engaged.
This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
In this budget that Yari presented to you, I have facts, constituency by constituency.
Get ready for the ultimate political showdown every Sunday at 6 p.m. Join the dynamic Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, the trusted guide through the maze of politics and current affairs. Political Roundtable,
where the sharpest mind dissect the hottest topic shaping our world today.
Don't miss out on the conversation everyone will be talking about.
Join Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ as he dives deep into the heart of the matters, exploring the issues that matters most to you.
And there is no subsidy in that sector, according to the government. So what you have...
All right, it's time for Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is this evening. It's a full package. A lot of domestic issues, things that concern us here, right? United States of America, Israel, Iran. Barrister Curtis Adigba will be joining us all the way from the United States of America. He's already in line with us. Good evening, Barrister.
Good evening. How are you?
Yes, nice to have you on the show this evening.
Thanks for having me, and good evening to the listeners.
All right, how are you doing? Hope all is well over there.
I just returned from Iran last night. My guy here used to see when he came out to announce to the nation.
Yes.
We were just frowning. So we just conducted a spectacular feat.
Why does he say no other country can do this? It's only us. Why do you? I listen to him and no other military in the world can do this. I'm like,
one of the things that people hate Americans for is that Americans naturally are braggarts. They brag about a lot of things. Whether you see them at the airport or wherever you meet them, an American will not leave you speculating, moving up and overtaking them. But when it comes to the military, the U.S. president will tell you, whether it's a Republican president or a Democratic president, he will tell you that the U.S. military is the best and the strongest in the world. Maybe they are right. Now, the B-2 bombers, which they used last night, they will tell you it's not. So, look, the world is competing very hard when it comes to development of arms.
All right.
And our prayer is that we never get to see it used in its full potential.
An escalation of, nuclear warheads, nuclear weapons and all of that. We're going to discuss it. I decided not to put it as the major issue or the first issue for our conversation this evening because, again, in our own training as journalists, they say proximity is very important. We can't leave our own domestic issues and then go that far. So we'll get there.
What is happening in your country?
On the show this evening, yes.
You know?
Yeah. So we'll get there, but let's first start with our own problems. Nuruddin Adegbero is here with us in the studio. How are you doing, Nuruddin?
Well, our own problems.
Yeah.
So and we have to deal
with our own problems first. Yeah. We understand that the world is a global village.
Yes.
But you know, in the first thing you are told, even as a year one journalism student, is that news has the characteristics of proximity.
Yes.
So it becomes news first, own issues, and then we'll eventually get to talking about this war or the crisis between the United States of America, Iran, and Israel. The Middle East is not looking good at all. The president visiting Benue State was going to bring some form of respite, some form of control to the level of insecurity we have in the country. But as we speak, we have reports that the president is mourning the suicide bombing that happened in Borno State and also the explosion. Can we just appeal to whoever is calling us that this is not the right by Mr. Curtis Adigba? So the president is mourning the suicide bombing that happened, and also the explosion that happened in Kano State over the weekend is also has ordered the arrest of the perpetrators of this crime. So also travelers were killed, over a dozen travelers, others still injured as we speak, were waylaid on their way to a wedding ceremony in Plateu State. And so that's also one issue that the president has also condemned, and he has ordered to keep Nigerians safe. And how bad is our security situation? Because we had thought that, look, what happened in Benue State, over 200 Nigerians killed, the president going there calling for the immediate arrest of people who, and then here we are starting the week again with these kinds of reports. So that will be our first issue for consideration on the roundtable this evening, and then we'll talk about party politics. The Minister of Aviation first, that the coalition is trying to now register as a political party, cannot recreate what the APC did in 2013, 2014, to take over power from the PDP, even though Atiku and El-Rufai are seeking INEC's approval for the new party. But Professor Keyamo thinks it's just a joke. It's not anything serious that anybody should take seriously, because it will not be able to do what the APC did as a coalition of politicians from different political parties. Eventually, the coalition may emerge from a new political party that is now seeking to register or get approval from INEC. We've talked about the ADC, SDP experiment, but it looks like these guys want to play it safe and register a brand new political party. So what are the political intrigues? We'll talk about that on the show this evening, and then we'll talk about international politics. Iran has responded to the U.S. bombing of his nuclear site, 3 of his nuclear sites, but also sending missiles to Israel. How bad is the situation? And there are people who have said that, look, this is just some of the things we're going to see, and it's going to die down and not really going to get to the point where nations will be in arms against nations. So we'll look at that. Donald Trump's statement, what he's saying, what is Iran saying, what is Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi himself, saying about this particular conflict. It's going to be a point for conversation this evening. And finally, the issue of the running mate of the president in 2027 has got the attention of the presidency. We saw a lot of fights and squabbles in Gombe State at the Northeast Caucus meeting of the APC. The presidency has said that, look, let's calm down. When the APC convention is held, after the convention, then the president will decide who is going to be his running mate. I'm like, okay. Maybe that's telling us that, look, it's not automatic ticket for Shetima, or is Shetima out of the equation? We will also be having that conversation this evening. But Mr. Curtis, let's start with this very, very unfortunate situation when it comes to security in our country. Before we talk about all these issues, let's also let you know that you can also watch the show live on Facebook. We are also on YouTube. You can also listen to us via the Radio Garden platform, multiple platforms. Barrister Nuruddin, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has condemned the recent killing of travelers in Plateau State, describing the attack as unacceptable and barbaric. This was just as he directed security agencies to ensure the perpetrators are swiftly apprehended and brought to justice. This was contained in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, on Sunday, just today. The statement reads in part, President Bola Tinubu has condemned the killing of travelers in Plateau State, urging security forces to ensure the arrest and punishment of the culprits. Reacting to the notable and barbaric, the victims, many of them injured, were traveling from Zaria in Kaduna State to Jos in Plateau State. President Tinubu directs the Nigerian police force to work with other security and intelligence agencies to ensure those responsible for the attack are held accountable. The president called for calm, promising not to allow the dastardly act to go unpunished. The government of Plateau State must take the particular crime. But it's not just in Plateau State, Barrister Nuruddin. The president has also condemned the suicide bombing that occurred in Konduga, Borno State over the weekend, describing the act as coward action. In a statement also issued by a special advisor on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, the president expressed anguish over the attack and mourned those who lost their lives. The statement describing the attack as cowardly. Tinubu called on security agencies to intensify efforts in flushing out remnants of both these elements who are causing pain and anger.
We have always been in trouble. We were in trouble before Tinubu came, and we're in more trouble now under him. Of the families of those who were murdered by this evil group of people. It beats me hollow. It shakes me to my core that human beings will get up with arms, attack and murder those who have not offended them in any way, because they either want to hurt. Who addressed Americans in one of his fireside chats after the First World War. The president, if we don't do anything to stop that war, is coming home to meet us. When this insecurity started with Boko Haram around the Borno axis, northeast, for instance, and then gradually moved to the northeast, in the Benue Plateau region. During the time of President Jonathan, and it started shortly with Yar'Adua before Jonathan took over from Yar'Adua after his unfortunate death. It was my people in Agatu and Apa that were in the barrel. As if my own people were not part of Benue State. It took Tanko and Makura, the then governor of Nasa, proceeding an island called Adakpati to Fulani, the herders, for their cattle to graze.
For grazing.
And then a little bit of peace was restored. And gradually it moved to Benue, tax, leading to death in Zamfara, under Buhari, in Katsina. Of course, there was a time the president was visiting the state. Over 300 children were kidnapped. You recall? And so many attacks. And at that point in time, those of us who live in the west or in the south of the country felt that this was a northern problem. Today is creeping in upon us. You have kidnappers who have been traced to bandits and terrorists all across the country today. All that we hear, Plateau, Niger, Kwara, everywhere, every part of the country. We are losing people faster than countries that are active, that are found themselves
in full-blown war.
And I do understand that the president has failed woefully when security is concerned. And I'm going to use his words to prove them to you, to prove why I have to make this statement. This president was not elected to sympathize with people.
He was elected to protect
them. This president was not elected to keep issuing condolence messages or saying, I understand the pain, I know what you are going through. How can the president of a country who is in charge of the security of the country visit a state where over 200 people were? Why have you not arrested anybody? Why have you not arrested anybody? That question should be answered by people that is already sacking because they failed him. And then he says, I give you a marching order. Why does the president need to give a marching order to the IG or the chief of defense staff or the chief of army staff before they do their job? 2 weeks ago, a 49-year-old man in Minneapolis, they were against Trump and they were in support of abortion and some other things. And he went to 2 houses, shot husband and wife first. Those ones survived. The other husband and wife, all Democrats, did not survive. Their funeral held just 3 days ago. But you know what? The police in Minneapolis and the FBI teamed up to look for this guy. There was a manhunt for him. They deployed helicopters. At the point, they even raised the sum of 50 million for anybody who can provide information leading to his arrest. I did not hear and to abuse the governor Tim Walz. I said he was incompetent. That's why something can happen in his state. But you know what? They hunted this guy down until he had nowhere to go and they arrested him. In Nigeria, and this did not start with Tinubu, but it's continuing with him, unfortunately. When we appoint people to key strategic security, we are doing it for loyalty's sake. What has 괏ᴜᴛ achieved as IG that they even got an extension? In other parts of the world, when you are going to be given, this is where we want to go. Today, the security situation under 괏ᴜᴛ and the various service chiefs now, even before Tinubu was elected, someone close to him told me, if he's ever elected, 괏ᴜᴛ will be the IG. And you can see that even in his other appointments. Wale Edu was his commissioner for finance when he was governor. Yemi Kaduso was also his commissioner when he was governor. Dele Alake was his commissioner when he was governor. You understand?
So it's not really about competence. It's just about relationship.
No. It's about familiarity and loyalty. That's why his cabinet is underwhelming. Now, the problem we are facing is that as the security chiefs feel comfortable because there's no threat of sack from the president to any one of them. Do you understand? When it happens, they use government resources. They go to these places where people have been killed. They have a security meeting with the president. And the president has given them a marching order. The next thing you hear is that more people have been killed. And then a statement from the president being issued by Bayo Ojo. Just like under Buhari, it was not Buhari that was issuing the statement. It was either Femi or Garuba Shehu. Now, in other parts of the world, you will have the president to appear to speak to the nation. And you saw the president was in tears, saying this was unacceptable. Maybe these things are happening. Do you understand? Just like our people too have gotten used to death. It's unfortunate that we are talking about these things all the time, and it looks like look at what happened in Benue. Do you know that there has been another attack in Benue after that one?
Yes. Yes.
This time in Akume's village. But you know what happened in Benue? You know what is encouraging this behavior? The president that ought to have seen this as a security challenge viewed the whole thing through the prism of politics. He said, Reverend Father Aliyah, the governor of Benue State, has to do reconciliation. There's a need for a peace committee to be set up. and for the political, was it the absence of peace among because if these deaths were politically motivated, the president swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria. It is so sad, so heart-rending that we have found ourselves in this situation. And it doesn't look like there's any solution on the horizon. That's the most painful thing. Nobody is being held to account. Nobody is being punished for their failures. The service chiefs are on their seats. I recall so many people who were calling on Buhari to sack service chiefs then. They are all quiet now.
They are quiet now. I remember. They kept calling.
They are all quiet now.
No. Now.
Because they are discovery. That is the failure of the governors that is making the situation in Nigeria the way it is. Even those who blamed Buhari for everything. Now their reason is that the current president has made more money available.
So all problems solved. Just blame the governors. It's about money.
But they're also not looking at the value of the money that he has made more available. And they are also not looking at the abundance of water. So many of these governors have now increased their tax because there is no accountability. The president has not dealt with anybody for not meeting his expectations. The people who should be sacked are the same people speaking grammar.
And they are being rewarded.
Now, yes, because if, for instance, there is no fear that no matter what happens under you, you will be sacked. And that if you are not meeting up expectations, that you will be sacked. Why do you even need to stand up and do what you are supposed to do? Okay, so that's the situation we have found ourselves in Nigeria.
All right, Barrister Nuruddin, I'll discuss so be it, because if the people are not alive, what's the value of the politics we like to talk about? Yes, it's political roundtable, but we just have to look at the human factor to some of these things. It's because I was having a conversation with Barrister Curtis on the sidelines before the show that, look, I thought that, look, when the president came in, the mandate would be to his service chiefs, the IGP, the NSA, and all these appointees that, look, this was the situation before I came in. And at that point, probably be looking at the numbers. Like, okay, if kidnapping attacks in Benue Plateu, look, you're going to keep your job only if you can bring the numbers in terms of bringing the numbers to a point where it's not this terrible. That's number one. Number two, Nuruddin, when you saw the president address the IGP and the CDS and ask the question, why have you not arrested anybody at that stakeholders meeting in Benue State? What does it tell you? Does it mean that the affirmation of what people have been saying, that, look, there seems to be no retribution, there seems to be no punishment, really, because what happened the last time that 200 people lost their lives, and the president is telling us that, look, there has not been a single arrest of anybody. I'll ask you the same question. Are we in trouble? Is this a hopeless situation?
Fuad, we are in deeper problem.
Now we can.
And what Al-Makura did then,
Tanko Al-Makura, the governor of Nasarawa State,
although to some certain extent, I can still fault the way he handled the matter, because it's going to be very, very hard just for peace. But at the same time, even if progress. But the problem we have now is this. One, if these three things are not put in place, I'm telling you something. If the president, as the commander-in-chief of armed forces, does not close his eyes to politics against insecurity, if you continue to put security if you continue to put politics inside security, is an issue between Godfather and Godson. President Tinubu cannot solve the problem. He will take side with the Godfather, and I have a lot of examples
to show.
Anytime there is an issue between a Godfather and a Godson in any political arena, he will side the godfather because he is also a godfather. So by the time they are putting policies, part of the policies they are putting into it is this. I would never believe thing of mindset. Whatever he wants to see is what he's going to see. Whatever he wants to say is what he wants to say.
Irrespective of what the facts are.
Because statement on the incapacity and incapability of both security chiefs. That you've not arrested anybody upon all these killings that have gone over 1 year.
The 200 is the latest. They've been several.
That they have their person in both local government. Fuad, I saw the report well detailed. It's more than 200. In fact, it's more than 300.
Even if it is 5.
But the thing there is this. Look at the body language of those people that run this country. The service chief. Have you seen more soldiers? Have you seen more men in Benue that will frustrate? Another one has happened. Although they covered the story, but there is no way the story is going to flit out. In Akume's village. And it was true. Upon the visitation of the president. So, if president did not remove politics from the issue of... we have to call a spade a spade. The way we are saying foreigners from Niger, from Cameroon, we are being economical with the truth. Because if you call something a clash, there must be casualty in both sides, and it must be feasible for us to see. So when you call it a clash, there must be fighting. Not that some people are going to be ambushed in the middle of the night and be killed.
I think the royal father of the TV nation,
fact,
I said,
I give kudos to that particular monarch. He put the record straight and informed the president that all those people that are giving you information are giving wrong information. So until from then, the third one, no matter how we want to put the blame, as we want to put the blame on the door of the president, has been the commander-in-chief of armed forces, we need to still put blame on the governor. There is no way he can escape blame. He may not have the security power. He's not in charge of police, but he's in charge of fund of the state. No, if he's in charge of the fund of the state, then he's going to share. He's the state. He's the governor of that state. Although he's not the chief security officer, it's just by book. We know that one. But he's the governor. If he has the resources of Benue in his hand, he also has more than the belief, but he still cried. Governor Alia also has a problem. He's in charge of the resources of the state.
All right, no,
there's no way we can take him out of that particular blame.
The conversation. Well, the barrister, the police command in Benue State has dismissed claims of any attack in one-way town in Taka local government area on Friday night. Nigeria reports that social media users had earlier claimed that herdsmen attacked one-way town on Friday night. Edet described the social media reports alleging herdsmen invasion in one-way as entirely false and misleading. She said no attack occurred and urged the public to disregard the false claims being circulated online. On the evening of June 21, at about 8 p.m., the police received a report that one Aundo Emba Yayu was shot dead along Akume Road, one. So what the police is saying is that, look, there was no attack, fresh herdsmen attack in Benue community. But barrister, Nuruddin is saying 3 things. Or stakeholders meeting that the president called for in Benue State to address the killings, the incessant killings of Benue people. When you talk about stakeholders, barrister, there was a question that came to mind. What it means is that, look, all the warring parties or everybody in the conflict should be present at that kind of meeting. And I wonder, were the people who have committed this crime represented in that meeting? How do you accommodate people?
Meeting. It wasn't a stakeholders meeting for resolving the conflict. Some of these things, when we say it, people think that we don't like the president. In fact, the president did not get good. Was dangerous. Don't forget that the president has an armored SUV. And that if it was supposed to be a campaign event, he would have.
So we saw, a number
that's in Makurdi and some other places where they have been taken to. Anybody could do that. Can't believe that the governors are not doing anything. the truth lies somewhere else. Without some of these governors, policing in their states would have collapsed completely.
Yes.
The governors are responsible for buying bullets for the police. They are responsible for repairing their vehicles.
They even fuel vehicles.
They are responsible for paying for their surveillance and operations. But you and I know that if you can't go to any police station in Lagos today and you are not made to pay for a statement paper.
Paper no the day.
It's either you stay now or if you go to most of the police stations in most of the states today, they are being powered by generators donated by people and sometimes the state government.
Yes.
It is the state government that buys fuel for vehicles of the police.
So what happens to the budget of the police?
Atiku
Yeah.
and his friends. So it's not completely correct that the governors are not doing anything. The governors are doing a lot. I can tell you, the governor of Lagos State spends so much money on police in Lagos State. The same thing for the governor of Benue State. So it's very easy to say these governors are not doing anything.
So they are putting monies where they don't have a control. There's no control. It's just putting monies.
Yes, it's like you going to your neighbor's estate, and then you decided that you will fund the security system of that. The best that can happen is that if your own house is under invasion by criminals, the security men in that estate out of pity can run to come and help you.
That's when it's not too late. Because
it's not too late. So these governors don't control anything, and the only reason why they don't control anything is because there is a fear that they will misuse state police.
Yeah, I wanted to get us to the point of state police. Yeah.
Use is the federal police not being used against political opponents? The security details withdrawn by the police. Why the one that had been removed by the same members had its own security team restored? Is that not an abuse of the police, of the federal police? Do you know of any federal system, federation, that only the federal government controls the police? So this is the problem. But you know what? The political chief has been politically and genetically modified. What are they doing with it? I'm telling you what they are doing with it now. Some of them, yes, I know, not 100% of these funds are going into security. But also, you can also expect that not 100% of even the federal government budget for security is going into security. There are leakages here and there.
All right.
But instead of us throwing blames around, right? I think the right thing for the 33 state governors, irrespective of political affiliation, will be present with the top hierarchy of the country. Now, the police in Benue State can deny anything. And I'm not saying whatever is empty to say we are under attack when they are not under attack. And if we had such narrative on the social media, you know that there's been a serious move now by the supporters of the president, Anakume, to try and somehow present the governor as weak, ineffective, and as someone who has lost control, and therefore there's a need for a state of emergency. So if you have such story coming out to the point that the police will come out to refute, you should of course know where the story is coming from. Now, but my point is that instead of throwing blames left, right, and center among those that were elected to solve this problem, it is better for them to come together and profile solutions that will work and save lives.
And remove politics from the conversation completely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. I think we've dedicated enough time, really. talking about this. The what's it called? About 12 people were killed. Yeah. In fact, this one is even worse because these were well identified. People were going for a wedding ceremony. They were waylaid. Some of them were burnt inside the vehicle that was taking them to that particular event. It's just heart-wrenching to see. It
happens. It's just that because when the number is huge, that's
when we report it.
There are a lot of, as we speak now, some part of Katsina still fight. The president it's not about just giving people marching order. We want action. We want to see people being protected. We want a situation in which the lives of Nigerians are going to save, not only in Benue, not only in the Plateu state, in other states too, because these killings are coming. It's just that it's coming in different fashions. When the numbers are many, that is why you see everybody's going to be talking about it, and before you know it, another one will happen. The president needs to get this for internal security.
Well, no, that's the report we're getting, and that's really, really unfortunate. And while we're also dealing with that, there are also reports of suicide bombing in Borno State. I'm hoping, Barrister, that those who are taught that Professor Zulum was merely playing politics with the alarm he's been raising for some time about the insurgents coming back into Borno State will now be taken seriously, because remember that the governor has been consistent on those who call themselves the supporters of this administration, who think so is merely just playing politics with those reports. Now, suicide bombing, killing has also happened in Borno State from this insurgency.
Well, you know something? Professor Zulum was a good guy, and he has been in the good graces and books of the president until any time he comes out of competitive situation, and now the government was failing in addressing the issue. I think it was this guy from Ibadan that works for the former speaker and chief of staff.
His professorship is on that question.
Yes. And this time around again, look, this is a guy who has been in the theater of war, so to say. This is the governor who travels in the night with his security team.
Who have been attacked severally.
Who has been attacked. It knows, in fact, people have accused him of taking risk, uncalculated risk. So when that man is speaking and is telling you the truth as he knows it, you better just listen to him. Look, it's not everything that we should play politics with. The man sounded the alarm. They called him names. They said he was an enemy of the president and the government of taking steps to ensure that these guys are not allowed to regroup.
All right, Barrister, we'll continue to talk about this situation. We are hoping that it's not a completely hopeless situation, because this statement from the presidency is looking almost the same every time these things happen. Oh, the president has called for...
It's because it's the same person issuing the statement.
The statement, it's as if they just change some things.
You just
edit and send.
So
they just change the name of the place
and the dates.
And just change the name of the place where it happened. That's all.
The president Mourns, and we very charge the security chiefs to do something about it.
If you read the whole thing, you know that you know how we do it now. Just edit and send.
What? It is. These statements are programmatic.
You program them.
It's already. Yeah, that's all. Don't change the name of the place where it has happened.
Send. It's unfortunate.
You see the manner is that you see some people sitting down in Abuja or in, and they will see somebody that is traveling from Lagos down to Borno, or somebody living in Borno, or somebody living in Plateu. You say that person is lying. Somebody that saw cops like this, you say that person is lying. And you will sit down in Lagos. And some they've never even.
We see someone said that they should show us the video of the people that.
Yeah, they should show us the people. I don't understand.
Let's just leave it. We are hoping and we are begging Mr. President about what he will be doing. We have the manifesto really that talked about doing all kinds of things to protect Nigerians. The numbers are rising. The situation is bad. People are afraid. Nowhere is safe really, and we are hoping that Mr. President will take this seriously, remove politics completely from this conversation, stop this idea of looking for who to blame, and get on the issue. Know that the buck stops at his desk and do what is right to protect the lives and properties of all Nigerians. See Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. We're going to move to the second issue. Barrister Curtis, Festus Keyamo, Minister of Aviation, is saying that, look, he has dismissed the formation of a new opposition party, the All Democratic Alliance, as a failed. We want to appeal to whoever is calling at this time to refrain from calling us. This is not the right time to call on the show. We will not pick the call. You are just disrupting our conversation at this time. We will open the phone lines and announce it to you, and then you can call in to be a part of the show. Please just bear with us. We still having this conversation. We'll open the phone lines for you to be a part of the show. Be a part of the show when we open the phone lines. Barrister Nuruddin, Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, SAN, has dismissed the formation of the new opposition party, the All Democratic Alliance, as a failed attempt to recreate the 2013 coalition that birthed the All Progressives Congress, the APC. In a post shared via his official X account, formerly Twitter, on Friday, Festus Keyamo ridiculed the move, describing it as a pedestrian joke. And this is quoting him now. If they are thinking of recreating what the APC did in 2013, then this is nothing but a pedestrian joke, a complete mockery of that seismic political coalition, Keyamo wrote. Of course, we recall that the proposed party driven by the National Opposition Coalition Group includes former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, Umar Ado, a former aide to ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo, and convener of the League of Northern Democrats, amongst others. Barrister, it's not just Festus Keyamo that has been reacting to the news that the coalition is seeking the approval of INEC coalition. We've given the names Malam Nasir El-Rufai, Atiku, Rotimi Amechi. Festus Keyamo speaking to what was done in 2013 that saw the APC march to take over power from the PDP. I've also seen party members of the APC who have also issued statements. In fact, they keep mocking the ADA. It's not going to happen. It's just a joke. What do you think? Do you think the APC is sounding overconfident, or you think that, look, to defeat any coalition come 2027?
Okay, so this, first and foremost, you must understand that Festus Keyamo is a dismissive character. Even when it doesn't even understand what the issues are. You know, you saw his position when he came out on the Delta issue. For him, the movement of the governor to APC in Delta State was a masterstroke for him, because before the president, he has done something that will help the president in Delta State. But Festus Keyamo was even a minister under Buhari, who in fact started attacking Buhari in the later days of Buhari. I don't know if you get the point.
Yeah, I'm with you, yes.
It didn't look. So now, that's one. The other thing is that, I mean, by the grace of God, we were there in 2014, 2015 when APC was formed. I'm sure you remember how many people came out to say this was. But you know the funny thing? Those who backed APC in 2014, 2015 and got it registered in 2015 for the election, the people who are talking about that today were part of that group. El-Rufai was part of the group. Amechi was part of the group. Atiku was part of the group. So it's even a good thing that they cannot be moved. That was what the PDP said to APC in 2015. They said, look, these are unserious people. You understand? We have more governors than them. Didn't Jonathan have more governors than Buhari at the time when he lost to Buhari?
But the man in charge is different, don't you think? Jonathan and Tinubu are not...
If Jonathan wanted to remain in power, he would have remained in power. Jonathan could have stopped going further with the announcement of that result. He could have alleged that there was a... And don't forget that in the Niger Delta, his boys were ready to burn down the country. But Jonathan looked at it and said, this is my politics.
Barrister, just give me 1 minute. Whoever is calling, we're appealing to you again to stop calling the show at this time. I might pick the call to know whether you are listening or you are deliberately just calling to give us problem. Barrister, just hold on. I need to pick this call to know whether this person is... Hello, good evening. So you can see that it's a problem. Hello, barrister. Can you just continue, barrister?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that those who have come out to dismiss the new formation or the new group are not doing the party APC any good. Because you see, when you underestimate the impact of cancer in your body, it doesn't stop the cancer from growing. It keeps growing. Now, we live in a country where there's an industrial scale discontentment among the people. The people that Tinubu will face in 2027 are not the professional politicians. I hope people know that. That even those who are not politically aligned for any other person other than Tinubu. So let them enjoy party and keep saying nothing will happen. Don't forget, the builder of the Titanic, the captain, and all of them were busy rearranging the deck for parties when the Titanic went down. So, I mean, the rhymes of history is repeating itself. But I do understand. I understand that in politics, do not underestimate anyone. I will tell you a story from Côte d'Ivoire. You remember when the then president Félix Boigny died, that there was a power tussle between the then. And that speaker became the president, all right? And then said that the current president, Alassane Ouattara, was a foreigner and therefore could not be president of the country. Then there was a military coup led by Robert Gay, who then sent the then president into exile, Gbagbo, who was an unknown minion, Laurent Gbagbo, whom he thought was a no match for him. In that election, led to his own assassination and had allowed Laurent Gbagbo to stay in power. Now, don't ever underestimate anybody. Tinubu is not listening to Festus Keyamo as far as this issue is concerned.
You think
because
so?
He knows. And it could also be that Festus Keyamo is putting up just a bold face.
He knows there's a problem.
Because when can you match Festus Keyamo against El-Rufai when it comes to politics?
No. From where to where?
Can you match Festus Keyamo against Atiku Abubakar when it comes to politics? In fact, the only political office Keyamo ran for, he lost.
So it's only been an appointee. Yeah, I understand. So I think I want to agree with you that the president will not be listening to it. I want to come to you, barrister. There are people who think that this coalition came too early. This announcement of a political party is coming too early. And their fear is that, look, the ruling party will still infiltrate their fold. You know, they've been running from one party to another party. You know, we first heard of the ADC, SDP. But there are people who think that, we don't know what the rules are as timelines. I've been trying to get whether there are rules to when you can actually that look, even if they come up with a new party, it's still going to infiltrate their fold. Do you think that...
He talk like Festus Keyamo, because as I'm concerned, he doesn't talk like a politician.
Maybe to just sound politically correct, just, throw jabs.
He has been like that because he's not a politician. That is why. It's just like you are talking about Femi Fani-Kayode, Festus Keyamo, all those ones.
They don't be politicians.
Or Shitu of Ibadan. You know those ones. You don't because there are some intrigues that is inside politics. And that's why you see that if politicians want to fight, even if it is an ant in politics, they will use sledgehammer.
So because you don't underrate anybody.
Because you don't underrate anybody. And that's why you will not see some politicians speaking in that. You look, whether we like it or not, any party from 1999 till date, any party that you see Atiku involved, you cannot underrate them. Because he also has the watchers. Then another one again is this. And you don't know the number of people that will still join them, even in APC, that we have not known.
Some people who are dissatisfied.
There are some certain people. We can't underrate anybody. But another thing again is that they are coming early. No. Don't forget, they are also looking at the constitution and also the power of the INEC. So they want to make sure they didn't fall within
no
the
story.
ambit. There is no story that, and if anybody think they are going to block their registration, is not done because they will go to court.
I think they can. They will sort themselves
So
out.
automatically, having that new party
is a better option than looking for an existing party.
For them, is very.
Do you
very
think it's a good option?
Well, it's a good option because one thing there is this. Let me tell you, in politics, it's only few politicians. Some people give him money to just throw the
party into crisis.
So automatically they want to play safe. Whether he's going to fly higher, and
how far they can go, we don't know yet.
We don't know. But another thing again is this. Look, at this particular time we have, there are many Nigerians that are not attached to a political party. That what they are attached to is to get good dividend of democracy. If they think they cannot get with the ruling party, that it can rule over you to give you the dividend. So they may be able, for instance, now somebody that have lost 5 of his family in Benue, you think that person will not be looking for another political party that is going to vote for either at the governorship level, House of Assembly level, or whatever level that can change his life, or which kind of themselves. You want to talk about those people that the economic condition has affected him and his family. So automatically there are some Nigerians that are not politicians, but they are not apolitical. They really want to pick.
They're looking at that option. Just the same thing they did in 2015.
The same they did in 2015.
All right, barrister. The Peter Obi factor. Nurina has talked about the timing. I don't know whether you have anything to say about it. I want you to answer it with the Peter Obi factor. We have not really seen Peter Obi really align himself with the coalition. You probably have noticed that, look, he's probably been running a solo show. Probably joined this party and the coalition. It would be a big major minus for them.
Okay, so for those who say that the formation of the new party or the party information is too early, I would tell them that the best time to form this party
is now.
Will be February or March 2027.
No, election go don't finish now.
That was the best time.
That's sarcasm. I understand.
No. Well, that's the best time to form it.
Election don't finish then now.
People don't understand that forming a political party and organizing to win for election is a behemoth. We are not talking of parties that have office addresses and have no activities beyond that. You are talking of a political less than 2 years out. It's too early. No, they will wait until March 2027 to form it. So that's my answer for them. Now, the other thing is that I think Obi is responding to what has become the unstable attitude expressed or not expressed of his supporters. If you listen carefully, majority of the obedient group do not want Obi to be part of the coalition. They believe that Obi standing alone can win the election. And there are those who believe that it's a strategic policy for Obi to be part of the coalition. Whether Obi will be at the top of the ticket, then it's smart politics for Peter Obi not to come out openly to say I'm in or I am out, but to constantly associate with them when he needs to, right? Keep his hand on the line and say, look, I'm here with you guys, but I'm not completely in unless I get what I'm looking for, because most of my supporters...
You think for now it's still smart politics that Obi is playing? You think it's a smart one?
Right now it's smart politics.
Okay.
It's smart politics because, you see, it does not matter how long he associates with them or not. Obi is their best step forward. Obi will get the ticket. Do you understand? Because you see, they have to compare that sentiment and where they are going to harvest most of their votes. They have to ask themselves, is Obi the best foot forward for us? What then is the collateral damage that Obi
not being with us will cause us?
If you look at the way the south of the country stands today, Obi's commanding activities are in the 5 southeastern states.
Solid.
You are not going to expect Obi to beat Tinubu in any of the southwestern states apart from Lagos. And I said Lagos because he did it before. you know. So, and I know there's a lot of effort on the part of the APC through WG². In fact, somebody posted something yesterday that there was a walk in Abia State in support of WG², and so that is the desire of the ruling party, to be able to make inroads into the Southeast. But you and I know that it will be tough call, you know, and that is actually obese base and strength. Now, the other thing that we are not talking about is the OB of 2023. Is it still, will it still be the OB of 2027? Nobody can say that now.
Would it, the OB of 2023, will this still have the same political value in 2027?
Yes. And is it going to have the same impact?
Or a better one?
In 2027. Because don't forget that those who voted for him in anticipation that he would win the last election, and somehow, whether it's INEC or whatever, that he did not win, are wiser now than they were in 2023. If the purpose and the aim is to get rid of the current one, and then you have two parties or two candidates emerging from the general election, there's going to be a runoff. Once there's going to be a runoff, it doesn't mean that those who supported the other candidate will automatically support the people or the person who will endorse.
They will recalculate now. And if you don't stand a chance, they just go somewhere else doing a runoff.
Exactly. So that is right. That is what Nigerians are going to do in 2027. So I think that it's smart politics on the part of Obi State.
For now. Okay, because we have just about 15 minutes to open the phone lines. Barrister, let's go international. Iran and Israel have exchanged a barrage of missiles after United States volleys today launched 2 volleys of 27 missiles targeting Israel's main Ben Gurion airport near Tel Aviv. Research facilities and command centers on the Iranian state news agency reported. Let's not go too deep into the reports. I think it's everywhere. It's complete escalation, Barrister Curtis Nuruddin. The U.S. is quietly being drawn into this war as we have it. Quietly, and I say quietly with all sense of responsibility, Barrister. Because again, I can see that a number of legislators in the U.S. are questioning, this idea of the president to order for strikes in Iran without congressional approval. But do you see us waking up to see a complete escalation of this crisis to the point where no part of the world is safe again? We can all, or maybe quietly, be drawn into this war somehow, and then we get to the point where we're talking of a World War III.
So let me start by asking you, what do you mean by escalation?
Well,
is everything escalated?
Yes, well, maybe a complete escalation.
We have other countries we join.
Escalation get level, but
no, look.
Because as we speak, Barrister, just 1 minute. As we speak, there are people who think, look, at some point, we might be seeing Pakistan taking sides with Iran. There are people who are also saying that, maybe Russia is just taking notes and looking at when to join.
What?
Yes.
This is the situation. First of all, let me go back to a little bit of history for people to understand. Iran, like most, this kind of behavior. Now, if Iran had a nuclear bomb, the United States would never have attacked Iran.
Never. If there's a balance of power, no.
Why haven't the United States attacked North Korea? Because they know it has the bomb. When Gaddafi had the nuclear bomb, when he was working on it, nobody attacked Gaddafi. They convinced him
to drop the idea.
He destroyed his nuclear arsenal, and they took him out. Ukraine is learning that bitter lesson. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Ukraine emerged with nuclear arsenal. The United States and Russia prevailed on Ukraine to dispose of its nuclear arsenal, that they will be there to protect Ukraine. Now, one of the parties to that agreement is the one invading Ukraine today.
And the other party is standing aloof.
Now, don't forget that Iran in the world have also nuclear weapons. And they didn't seek the permission of the international community
to have it,
to acquire the nuke. So Iran believes that it has the right to seek for one. That's one point. However, Iran's desire is considered a threat to Israel because of Israel from the surface of the earth. Now, attempts by Iran to acquire the bomb has been hindered by sanctions, by attacks. In fact, under Obama, there was an agreement that was signed involving the United Nations for Iran not to declare, not to get a nuke. But right now, the politics of this nuclear bomb is exacerbated by someone in Israel called Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu sees his political survivor and staying out of jail. He sees this conflict with Iran as the only way for him to hold on to political power and to stay out of jail. He has been facing trial for corruption. It's not been clear from 3 years. And what he has done, if you go back to history, in 2002, Netanyahu told the whole world that Iran was only a few weeks
from getting a nuclear bomb.
From acquiring this bomb. Yes. In 2010, in 2012, he addressed the United Nations and then he addressed the U.S. Congress. He said Iran was weeks away from getting the nuclear bomb. Thereafter, weeks. He's been interchanging weeks and months. And thereafter, he carried out some raids on sites believed to be nuclear sites in Iran. Even the scientists behind all that, Israel took them out one by one. And then he pledged in 2012 that Iran will never get a nuclear bomb. And since then, the agency of the United Nations that has been monitoring the development of this arsenal,
IAEA,
IAEA said that Iran has not done enough enrichment. But all of a sudden, there was this urgency. As soon as Trump was re-elected and became president in America, there was this urgency on the part of people like Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader, who went to Iran for a function, and thereafter attacks on the facilities and attacks on the scientists and all that. And then recently he came up with this idea that Iran again was a few...
Bringing up a very funny picture.
And he was not going to allow to go and attack them. He then told the president of the United States
you must join this fight.
Only you must join this anything. It is that no country, the United Nations, air defense capability of the country, you can target the political leadership one by one and take them out, but you have to put boots on the ground. And I don't think it's something the U.S. want to do. Now, those who said, well, Israel did what was right for it, and the United States is doing, because, as we know, Russia has come out to speak in support of Iran. China is also not holding back. This president promised not to get America into any other war.
He even condemned those that went into any form of war. A surprise is the one.
The fought in Afghanistan were there for 20-something years, lost lives and limbs, got nothing from it. They were in Vietnam, they also did not understand. They made attempts in Venezuela. Look, they intervened in Iraq under the pretense that Saddam had a nuclear bomb.
Yes.
Don't forget at that time, there were people in America within the administration who resigned because they believed that they didn't have a nuclear bomb. They had to use Colin Powell.
Part of the people that also said, yes, there's nuclear weapons there.
Yes. They invaded Iraq. Iraq had no bomb, and they surrendered. Now, this is the problem that people are afraid of. If you understand the way Iran has been operating, Iran is not going to confront the United States in a frontal war. But Iran has got terrorist pockets because they are going to hear what I mean. The division between the Sunnis and the Shia is going to become very clear now.
Very clear.
Okay? Trump is friend to Qatar. But of course, we know the Qataris are backing Iran. Okay? So, it's not, and Iran is not going to go into a full frontal war with the United States, but Iran will try to sponsor attacks on United States interests. Trump announced 2 days ago that the United States is going to take 2 weeks to consider whether it will join the war
or not
with Israel or not. That was the message that was sent out to deceive. Knowing that yesterday bombs were going to go away. Israel bombing Iran will not solve the problem of Iran. Even if you have a regime change in Iran today, people must understand that, look, what is going on in Iran is an idea. America and the West have always promoted the idea of Afghanistan and Iraq. You know? And the thing is that they don't have the same power to ensure that those who they are handing over the countries to
will be retained in power, like Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, the president of Afghanistan ran away at the first sounding of their intelligence assessment phase. Ashraf Ghani can actually withstand the Taliban for at least a year before he will need help.
Were they willing to fight? The question is, were those guys willing to, the locals that America had trained, funded, handed over power to, were they willing to fight?
Some of them are actually closet supporters of the Taliban.
Yes.
This is what they don't know. And now, do you know the interesting thing here is that President Trump had to throw under the bus is U.S. intelligence. To be intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard said Iran does not have a nuclear weapon and Iran is not about to get one so soon. The president said he was lying, and that's not strange, thrown under the bus by the same president. So we are going to watch and see. We are watching. And hope that. But what people do not know is that any war between the United States and Iran, or war between Israel and Iran, will have an outsized negative impact on our own economy in Africa, especially Nigeria.
All right.
So the price of oil will go up. I'm sure you know that.
Well, it's already going up.
It's already going up. But you know what? We are not going to get it.
It's already going up marginally. You are not in the country. We are telling you now. Where I used to buy per liter at 850 is now 870 naira per liter. No, from 870, 890 naira per liter. So
another price is coming
tomorrow. Well, but Nuruddin, and before Paris, but let me just ask Nuruddin, this Shetima thing, the presidency has eventually reacted to it, and what they are saying is that, look, until the next APC convention, where the president will be officially nominated as a candidate for 2027, we shouldn't be talking about a run. Can decide to change his mind, or do you think, he's just being safe and say, it's just what it is? You think that Shetima may not eventually make the ticket in 2027?
Yes. Look. Don't forget that from 1999 to today, this is the only full-fledged politician as a president. The calculation has changed.
What has changed?
Yes, when Muslim that he can trust in such a way that will not give him problem. You think if president has picked somebody from the northwest, let's say somebody like El-Rufai as vice president, you think it's going to be very easy? Not at the stage that Shetima is to use El-Rufai like that if he's a vice president?
But
with the link that he has at this time. Now, what the president is looking at is this. He's looking at the numbers. Now, he wants to try to lock up the South. Southwest is having a marginal.
He's very good strength.
But he wants to have, especially from the North. And when you want to focus the North Central can be shared. Northeast can be shared.
So you think he will now be picking somebody from the Northwest?
From the Northwest.
Okay.
That's why he's looking away.
Okay, maybe looking at the result of the last election. Yeah, so, Barrister, so I can allow you to go. No, please, yes.
Okay, I think the consideration here is that Shetima has contributed marginally to the strength of that ticket.
Not so much.
With all the controversies with Rob Shetima yet. What the presidency didn't want to do is to know, given what is happening on the other side. They want to leave a room to wiggle if there is a need to do so, to look for maybe a more grounded politician. But the mistake they are making is that if Shetima is not on the ticket, don't forget that Shetima has built a political base within the North in the last 4 years. And he had a lot of time and space to do so because he had no role in the government. And that's why you saw what happened in Gombe. The fact that his name was not mentioned.
They beat themselves up seriously.
So the presidency and Bola Tinubu will be looking at it and say, okay, so is it better for us to go with Shetima? And if we don't, what will be the flip side for us? So I think that's why they have not come out openly to say it's going to run with Shetima or it's not going to run with Shetima.
But let me ask you a direct question. Do you think he will run with Shetima or he's going to drop him? Your own calculations.
It is so certain there is this. I know the president wants more votes from the North.
Will he run? Do you think he will? You've been studying politics. You know how politicians behave. A very simple question. Do you think he will return Shetima as running mate or not? So, need to open the phone lines now. It's been a very robust conversation. Thank you for the commitment and time. And we can't wait to get you back in the country. We'll be waiting. We are so anxious to get you back into the country.
Don't worry. Just write a letter to President Trump. He will release me.
No. All right. Thank you, Barrister. God bless you. All right. 09136 0004110 09136 0004110. The phone line is officially open. Mainland 98.3 FM. Of course, you can touch on any of the issues we've so far discussed. We talked about insecurity. We've talked about the new political party and the fact that the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo SAN, has dismissed that idea as any threat to the APC. What he's saying is that, look, they can't recreate what the APC did in 2013, 2014 before they took over power from the PDP in 2015. We've also touched on the crisis in the Middle East, the role of the United States of America, Donald Trump, Bibi Netanyahu, and the response of Iran, and what that could mean for global peace and security. And again, President in 2027, 09136 0004110. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Claudia.
Yes, good evening.
This is Gideon calling from the station.
Yes, Mr. Gideon, please go on. 1 minute.
You see all these things that is happening for Nigeria. This is what the Muslim they Kano have talked before for insecurity, for nearest men.
I think it is like. All right, 09136 0004110. 09136 0004110. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. This is Samuel calling from Ikeja.
Yes, Mr. Samuel, 1 minute.
Yes, Oga Fuad. In fact, it's so interesting. The one that concerns me is the insecurity issue that we are talking about. Oga Fuad, you see this issue of insecurity. We are not sincere with ourselves. It reminds me of the Lucky Dube song when he said, it's because your father is not telling you the truth and your mother is not telling you the truth. That is the situation we find ourselves. Until we ban this open grazing, it's not born then. When some people are claiming that they have a grazing route, you understand, even though if the route pass through your house, so they cannot change. Nobody is ready for peace to reign.
All right.
But all this thing is just because of politics. Nobody wants to match anybody. Nobody wants to go to that area because of their politics. Look, let me tell you one thing.
Professor Keyamo word cannot just throw to the trash just like that. You know what he's saying? Look the character of these people who are coming together. They are not together. They don't have the charisma. So let me tell you what you are running with Buhari.
But
they thought they can do it alone.
These other guys,
you have to know where they are coming from.
Wait, Ambassador Musba.
El-Rufai is a cargo. He work with some people, even Atiku himself. So I mean, none of them can accept, to drop. I think vice president. I know the constitution allow any vice president to do whatever. It's only the president. So it's just a handbag. Stamina. Whoever he choose is still there.
All right.
Stamina, but the party is dead on arrival.
That ADA is dead on arrival. According to engineers. Hello, good evening. To call us by. Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you, and the guests in the house.
Yes, good evening, sir.
I wish you never mentioned second term for idea. It means that they went there to play politics. He could not even reach that back. It's a terrible thing. And then he asked the IG of police that, are there any arrest? He was laughing. That laughter means a lot of things. Smiling leads a lot of things to desire in the mind of the Nigerians. And the whole world, you're asking me for arrest. Don't know what the situation is. And Mr. IG, like your this thing said, that consult Godfather, is out. It has stayed his relevance in the police. He's already retired. He should be retired and let go. Let there be realistic, professional police and security in Nigeria. What they are offering us is not security. Then Keyama's statement cannot be taken serious. He cannot win the councillorship in the state. He can only make.
He's a minister.
Hello?
He's a minister. You say he can't win councillorship election.
That's only what he can do. He can only shout. He can only be governed to some people to get position.
Thank you.
He has run for election. He didn't even win the primary.
Thank you so much.
Of winning the election.
Thank you so much, Engineer. Hello, good evening. Can we councillorship?
Yeah, so quick one on the President Tinubu's visit, to Benue. If you look at his body language and everything, all the things are played out, you will know that Mr. Tinubu is just a politician. And you know what keeps reverberating in my brain is when he was soliciting for that presidency, and you see that this is all about his life ambition of grabbing power. He went there. You're supposed to take chopper and go to the site of where people were killed. He didn't go there, and you were asking funny questions. That why were people not arrested? As a fight, these people are aggressors. So it has shown he who comes to equity must come with clean hand. Is it somebody that the CIA mentioned as an asset? And you understand. So he is not the person fit for presidency. Then talking about the new party, well, let's just hope that they'll be able to get their foot right. But for Obi, I understand why he's taking his time, because Obi as a person with an ideology and he represents the actual change. The other people there, they are just for their self.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
John from Ogba.
Okay, Mr. John, please go on, sir.
I only dwell on the president's visit to Benue State. Honestly, just like the last guy said, his body state. And the savages, whatever, the IG is not able to say, I have arrested somebody. Instead, the answer was that he has not arrested. And you allow him, instead of him to have immediately, if I were in his position, I will sack him. I will leave him of his job straight away. It means that he's not serious. He does not know exactly what he's doing. And now he has not arrested anybody, and he's now converging there to do what? To mock the people that was killed. And he further says that they should reconcile. Who will reconcile with somebody that is killing him? How would they sit down? How would they reconcile? Instead of arrest and punish, then you can talk of reconciliation later. You did not do that. Well, good evening.
All right. Good evening, Mr. John from Ogba. Let's deal with some of the messages we have on Facebook. A lot of them actually. I just hoping I'll be able to deal with all these messages. A lot of messages on Facebook. Okay, let's start with this message from Okay, His Royal Highness Lensin Delusive Adedolapo is just saying he tuned in. OC Morale is saluting us. Thank you so much, OC Morale, from General T.A. Lagbaja Army Cantonment in Ikeja. Ishola Davenport is saying, good evening, good people of mainland, and thanks for this Sunday tonic. I believe the political party ADA is out too early because Tinubu will plant spoilers into the party. Concerning Shetima, I believe Tinubu will drop Shetima. As we all know, VP post in Nigeria is just a spare tire. Well, let's see how it goes. God bless everyone this evening. We salute you too. The world is saying good evening to the men in the studio. My fear on the killings all over the country is that it's looking like the killings during former President Jonathan's era, and at some point it may lead to Nigerians calling for the president's resignation due to insecurity, just like it happened during President Jonathan's time. Please, let's stop giving marching orders and just go all out on insecurity. John Benado is saying, why the same thing throughout his tenure, mourning victims of bomb blast? Tinubu want to continue the same. This is a no-no. I knew how I escaped the bomb bombing in Kano. He needs to step up, if possible, sack his NSA. On the issue of his second term, I believe he will drop Shetima. The Cross River State governor that was endorsed by APC just made it clear that he's running with his current deputy. And then you have Idris Adam saying, good evening to you all. The president is failing massively because he's too political. I don't think he can change therefore Wala Deo. Abdurrafiu Alabalakwe is saying, well done, guys. Ogbeni Alabalakwe from Sabo Ijewoniba Ojo. Insecurity situation in Nigeria calls for serious concern. It's very unfortunate that killings continues. However, President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly should do all what they can do to allow state police to come to life. This is one way to curb and strike out the madness. Policing structure is nothing but a charade. And lastly, give us state police and enjoy peace in Nigeria. And okay, it's okay. But Asiwaju will win 2027 and El-Rufai will join APC back. Aside of El-Rufai, others are players or failed. Okay. He has brought Arsenal into the conversation. Okay, to the families who lost their loved ones, I think there's a lot of underlying political issues with the above mentioned states. Mr. Fuad, why should the president be giving marching orders all the time? Now it's becoming alarming and yet no solution in sight. May God help and rescue our nation. We have Christopher F. Young, who is saying, good evening, wise men in the studio. The last time I fact-checked from Nigerian Constitution, primary duty of government is to protect lives and properties of its citizens. Why President Tinubu and APC-led government don't have the political will, responsibility for your duty before it becomes too late. Nigerians cannot afford to be dying in this manner, and you are there campaigning for 2027. Who are you going to govern over in 2027? Please, Mr. President, stop pretending to be sleeping. Stop empty marching orders with action. Put on the same actions and demonstrate. Okay, it's a long message. Okay, I think that's as much I can take from that particular message. We have ᴏᴜᴛᴜ what we're saying. Good evening to the gentlemen in the studio. It's unfunny the president is seeing insecurity from political angle. I served in Benue State, local government area to be precise, and I know what those people are going through. In fact, I was once caught in the trouble, but as Omo Ijoba, we got protection board, and those politicians are aloof. James Unwachi Ogbonna is saying, the civil gentleman in the studio, I greet you strictly. Mr. Fuad, I hope you are aware the recent killings in Plateu State. We talked about it. Maybe you joined us late on the show. So the question is, will Mr. President visit Plateu? There were killings in Plateu earlier this year before that of Benue State. Did Mr. President go there? There have been killings in some northern states. Did Mr. President visit any of them based on the killings? My point is, the visit of Mr. President to Benue or any other state won't solve the problem of insecurity or stop the attacks. There's lack of political will to end it. As for the ADA coalition, I may not vote in 2027 if the structure of the coalition I'm seeing I'm seeing it through with Mr. Peter Obi heading the Southeast Zone. I'm still looking at who will become the presidential candidate and running mate. It will determine my decision. And that's James Ogbonna from Oshodi. We have Prince Leo Zoma saying, good evening, Fuad, Barrister, College and Nuri. Thanks for your wonderful, unbiased, truthful analysis always. Anyways, what Minister Keyamo does not understand is that majority of Nigerians are so angry with this government, and that in a free and fair election, APC will be kicked out of office, because since APC got into power in 2015, Nigeria and Nigerians have never remained the same. positively. That's from Prince Leo Zoma from with APC. The other they come, the other they fall one by one. The state failures, when the time comes, we shall separate the boys from men politically. That's from Atonda Kayode Samuel. We have WG %sOᴘnsAᴘᴘ saying, I think the president should take security matters head on for the betterment of the country. God bless Nigeria. Vico Cool saying, good greetings, wise men of Mainland FM. In 2023, someone dismissed obedient movement, saying there are just 3 people in a room shouting. During the poll, it metamorphosed into 6 million votes. Hunger, bad economy, insecurity in the North Central, and everywhere in the nation shall speak. As for Iran and Israel conflict, the world needs peace, not war. America should not escalate it. WG=ᴜᴜ is saying, firstly, how can I get across to Mr. Adigberu on a tummy on the issue of land matter? Secondly, I believe if petrol is now $25 at Ikorodu Road as of today. We don't have any information about Mr. Sat Guru Manaji. But he's saying that petrol is now $25 on Ikorodu Road today.
Yes, because today majority of
the filling stations were locked up.
Those ones that are not independent, whatever, they are locking up. So automatically, it's a signal
that something's going to happen.
This week there will be an increment.
Well, okay, let's speak some of the calls we have now. I'll return to taking some of the messages. Okay, let's see. Let's see to these. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening to you all in the studio.
Yes, good evening.
For America is the father of the whole nation. And they play the father role very well. When you have your own nuclear disease, all those countries that have this, they should the country. Let everyone be peaceful. But what the whole America is doing now, telling you, they are not letting the whole world. This man's job will never let to be peace in the world. That's for that. And for the Mr. President, but this 4 year of Mr. President, he must work for Nigeria. The security, yes. As you go to Borno, I love it. It spoke very well. To my own liking. The police, and finally, for Obi, yes, let him stay where he is. But as of today, Obi is speaking like an independent candidate. And if any party don't have structure, we can't talk of winning president in this country. All these parties are joining APC now. The Delta, the Akwa, they will take some of that supporter to this party.
All right.
What are we talking about?
All right.
So 2027 belongs to God, but as of today, Tinubu is winning.
All right. As of today, Tinubu is winning. So says Prince Wise. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, Joshua.
Yeah, good evening.
Turn down the volume of your radio. The feedback is so bad.
I am personally not with radio though. But can you please bear with me the background of this? I'm on the road.
Oh yeah, sharp.
Yeah. See, I personally believe President Tinubu will not want to disappoint the northern people, especially by dropping Shetima. Yeah, I'm not sure he has that kind of intention, because if it drops, it will lead to. There are so many issues on the ground before. So imagine you dropping Shetima, and again.
Okay. Joshua. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening for us.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
My name is Lord from Yanakwaja.
Yes, Mr. Lord.
The truth of the matter, for me, I know that the Tinubu has failed already. The question you asked, whether the obedient are still going up, for me today, obedient is more than where they were before. Because the mistake we did there, they are not correcting it. Try to have agent. That's where we have there. We are not having agent, most of the polling units. But today, as we are talking today, the obedient.
So sorry, Mr. Hello, good evening. You can always call back. Hello, good evening. Yes.
Good evening. This Mr. Salah, sir.
Malam Salah, you caught lucky call. Yeah, please go on, sir. 1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. It's too short, though.
Forward.
Let me start with the security in Plateu.
Yes.
You see one thing. I'm afraid let this not be another religion crisis. Because I told you the other time you are meet with politics. I said, what's happening in Plateu is very religion. Okay, these people, the wedding guys, are they herdsmen?
It's unfortunate.
These are innocent guys. And you could remember General Alkali. He was director of army operation, retired. Okay? When this guy was killed, when he was murdered, even not because of the military officer, but when Britain moved to action, you know, there was one Kano. Women, before you know, women come out in their black attire protesting that is their ancestral whatever. Only for them to evacuate the water and find his vehicle and other victims there. You get me? So these are caught almost on daily basis. And you know what happens, sir? You see, I'm afraid. I don't want to sound something because I'm not in a good mood. Let's move to Shetima and Co. Because I don't want to make more comment on that. You see, the Shetima, the Tinubu has no problem with Shetima. The problem is that Tinubu is under pressure from Northern Christians that he will let him take a running mate as a Christian. You understand?
So, you think he may just play it safe by picking a Northern Christian?
I don't vote for him. I don't even listen. Whether he is voted, he's not somebody that can just give his mandate just like that. But in type of real vote, he can roll. You understand? So that is the only thing.
All right.
But you run with the Shetima. If you don't run with the Shetima, you lose the northeast vote.
Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you, Malam Salah. He said if he doesn't run with Shetima,
so is Shetima so that big in the northeast like that?
Well, we'll wait to see. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Irsᴛ from Ijota.
Oh, Mr. Irsᴛ from Ijota. Please go on, sir.
Yes. I want to say that the formation of the new party, they are going nowhere.
Okay, they are going nowhere.
Because why I said that is the only way me I think it will work, and Nigeria will not have questions. We do bondage. It just be like better than the person. Any problem in Nigeria because they would like to control. They will control him.
Obi,
I can bet they will control him.
Okay, well that will be the last call for the evening. We need to leave the studio. The Marital Matters man is here with his cap. I decided the enigma. What do you have for us this evening?
I was listening to you, but I was getting interesting. So we're discussing when the turbulence of marital bliss shows up, should we not jump ship?
So turbulence, you married, then you jump ship, you leave the marriage.
Like the way they should jump ship.
Okay, well that's
the new party.
That is association of shine ladies now.
No problem.
And there is association of
single mothers. Anyways, that's the Marital Matters for you. I decided the enigma and his league of marital issue experts will be in the studio. It's been and also call the show to be a part of the program. Let's do this again.